hashtag CNW on Twitter. Here we go, let's get this action underway. Big Tex Johnson, the big man, in his first match here tonight. What do you think of Big Tex Johnson here, Matt?
I don't know. I've never seen any of his work, wrestling or otherwise, but I mean, you look at the size of the guy, I gotta say, he's probably using a lot of power, and I mean, we've seen him backstage, we've seen him, interact with some of our talent backstage, and, he seems like a pretty good guy, so maybe, he is in the ring with a former world champion in Miles King, but I'd like to see what he has to offer.
Absolutely. I mean, you just look at the guy and he just embodies all of that power aspect of the game. I mean, look at him. He's Big Tex Johnson. He's called Big for a reason, and he towers over and over the big man known as Miles King. Then a collar and elbow tie-up. Stars off here.
Absolutely. I mean, you look at the guy. I mean, for a guy called Big Tex Johnson, I mean, you got to know three things. I mean, he's big, he's all man, and he's all Texas. So, again, this is, I believe, his first match in CNW, possibly his first match ever. So we'll have to see exactly what he can bring to the table.
I do think so. I think this is the first match that he's had in traditional wrestling. I mean, he's come from a different background, I suppose, and the man that's been here, he's been hanging around backstage. I'm not exactly sure why, but this has been the first time that, and a nice hip toss there, that he's actually stepped inside a traditional wrestling ring. So let's see how he fares off tonight against Mr. Miles King, the former #1 contender for the CNW World Heavyweight Championship. Oof. The club there to the arm of Miles King. Of course, Miles King, known as the King of Clubs, likes to use that arm in a lariat. Ooh, and another lariat, speaking of. Of course, Texas is quite famous for those lariats. Miles King, though, employing the knee to the face. Ooh, now, something I wanted to bring up, because I know it's brought up as a point, is Miles King is from Las Vegas, Nevada, where we are here tonight, live in fact, and yet this crowd does not seem to like Miles King. They just seem to not take to any of his antics. You would think that Miles King is the hometown hero. Now, Mr. Matsu, would you like to try and explain to me why this crowd does not like Miles King?
Well, there are a few reasons. One, maybe they don't like that he's willing to do whatever it takes to win. Mm-hmm. Maybe they don't like that he's, better than them. Mm-hmm. Maybe they don't like that he's just simply too talented. And, maybe they're just sick of seeing lots of people from Las Vegas. I mean, you get a lot of people from around the area.
Absolutely, but we get people like Ruby Corinthos, who gets a hometown crowd reception every time that she comes out here, and yet these people just do not like Miles King for who he is, and that right there is probably why that eye rake, you're absolutely correct. The guy will do anything he will get out of his sleeve to win the match, but at the same time, it's not sportsmanlike.
I mean, that's might not be sportsmanlike, but it's intelligent. It's intelligent. This is a wrestling ring, as Big Tex Johnson is finding out. This is a wrestling ring, and in wrestling, you have to do whatever it takes to win. Even if it means doing something like an eye rake, an eye poke, a back rake. That's what's kept Miles King at the top for so long, and that, I think, is what'll keep him there.
I can't completely disagree with you, but I just don't think that Miles King isn't at the point where he does have the talent. He really does have the talent. I don't think that he needs to go to this well of just unsportsmanlike abilities, just these low blows, these eye rakes and things like that. This just blatant cheating, really. I don't think Miles King needs to do that. Oh, and a huge DDT there from Big Tex. Because
you call it cheating, I call it tactics. I call it strategy. You can call it cheating all you want, but the fact is, I mean, who's the man who usually walks out, with the win? It's not, the people who always follow the rules. Look, if the referee doesn't see it, it's all legal, and that's what Miles King, that's what's kept him at the top. That's why he stayed at the top. That's why he's the high roller.
Big Tex now. Ooh, brought out of that from the high roller, as you say. Miles King likes to use a lot of boxing techniques within his own arsenal. He also uses a lot of the simpler wrestling techniques to great effect, really. As well.
Again, Miles King, I mean, you said it yourself, he's very, very talented.
Absolutely,
but,
there's absolutely no denying
maybe it's just those tactics that just put him, a little bit above everyone else.
Miles King now. Ooh, speaking of, just throwing Big Tex Johnson into the corner, getting out of the way. And Miles King trying to work over the head of Big Tex Johnson. Oh, here we go. Who's got him up there? Crucifix position. Oh, what a huge neck breaker. Miles King now has got to go in for the cover. One. Oh, just a one. Big Tex Johnson using all of his power, kicking out of that at one.
I gotta say, I mean, Miles King is a pretty big guy, but I don't know if he's ever really... I mean, you look at Big Tex Johnson, an enigma, you know, someone who's never wrestled in a match before, and then, you know, at least I don't think that Miles is a
Oh, hold on a
fan
second.
of...
Miles King. Jackpot. There we go. Hitting that Tiger Bomb. Going in for the cover already. 1, 2, 3. That is it. Thanks for coming, Big Tex Johnson.
I don't think this was the impression Big Tex wanted to make on his first night, but you're going to have to get up pretty early in the morning to outsmart the former world champion Miles King.
Absolutely, but Big Tex Johnson did put up quite a good fight. Was not good enough. Maybe, once he's got a bit of experience, he will be able to battle with the top men known as, just people like Miles King. There we go, there we go. That was the jackpot Tiger Bomb. 1, 2, 3, and that was it. Of course, Miles King rocking out the victory here tonight. Looking very strong here at Casino Nights Wrestling, as Miles King always does. We're celebrating his win here. Miles King looking very strong over Big Tex Johnson in his debut.
Absolutely. I see big things in his future.
Miles King's future.
Oh, absolutely. Both men. But the future is always bright for